Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of In the Vault. I'm your host, Ryan Parmenter, and I'm joined by Brandon Banco. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing amazing today. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing pretty
Excuse
good.
me.
All
I'm
right,
Evan Floric. I'm on the board, by the way. Hey, guys.
There's Evan right there.
He's right there.
You won't be able to see him, but there he is.
he might pop in a bit.
So I guess we can start off with a little bit of MLB. We'll do 15 minutes each, MLB then NFL.
and then wrap it up.
Oh, there you go.
All right, so the first game. If the Atlanta Braves did not start Max Fried, they would still win the playoffs. Max Fried
Oh, for
went
sure. For sure.
Max Fried went 2 innings and gave up 5 runs. I mean, he's been
He's been off.
been
He's been doing
absolutely
good today.
terrible. Absolutely terrible. But because as soon as Fried got out, they started to win.
I know.
I mean, look, this was Fried's stat line. In 2 innings, he had 8 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 2 Ks, and a 22.5 ERA.
That's understandable why they lost.
I mean, to no fault of Michael Harris either. I mean, he did great. He had 3 hits, a home run. I mean, he had a great game. Ozzy Albies not so much. Marcell Ozuna did all right. Matt Olson put up an absolute stinker. Soler was okay. I mean, let's be honest. So, did we really expect the Braves to go far? I mean, they had no pitching.
No.
If they won tonight, they'd probably be starting Ryan Conlon tomorrow. Tonight, I mean.
He's one of our hosts, but
Yeah.
that kind of reminds me of the Mets versus Brewers game that happened. It was 3-5 Brewers somehow getting past the Mets.
Mets
you know
gonna Met. They always gonna blow it.
I know. I mean, more or less, I was expecting a Met win, a Met victory. But then you know what? I mean, all odds were for the Brewers.
Hey,
they did pretty good.
I mean, hey, Brewers do have devil magic.
You
They're
got a point.
they're also insanely lucky too.
You got to give it to Jackson Churia, who was one of the highlights of the Brewers. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and 2 home runs. The triple two. I mean, that's unbelievable, especially for the Brewers.
If I could just add something.
Go ahead.
This is something we've seen from the Mets all season. They got a lead for the majority of the game. If the game was over in 5 innings, the Mets would be one of the greatest teams in the MLB. However, it's not, and somehow, some way, we saw it again. Mets bottled a lead. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there, Evan. But you really got to see also from the top performers. The only top performer for the Mets that one game was just literally Starling Marte, who only had 2 hits, versus Jackson Churio, who had 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and 2 home runs. That's really not a lot. That just goes to prove you that it's Brewer season now.
I mean, Churio did great. I mean, if you went by fantasy points, which for baseball doesn't really matter, but if you went by fantasy points, he'd have 11, which is a lot for baseball.
Yeah.
But I mean, really nothing to really write home about except for the Mets have a terrible bullpen, and they play tonight at 7:08 p.m. on
I'll be watching.
on ESPN, I believe.
Well, whichever channel gets the game, go ahead and watch that. I believe also, tonight's Mets versus Brewers again, so we'll see what's going on again there.
And then, is it finally safe to say that the Astros dynasty is finally gone? They lose Bregman. If they're smart, they trade Jose Altuve when he finally has value. Kyle Tucker's a free agent after next year. I see them moving after him. I see them moving on from after this next season. I see them trading him or something like that. Alvarez, I feel like he's the only player you can really keep because he's a top 5 bat in the league. Just does not provide any value defensively.
Yeah, that's
And then Hunter Brown has looked really good. It's just the fact that Justin Verlander exists. If Justin Verlander didn't exist, this team would be a lot better. And then Josh Hader, man, he absolutely reeks.
Yeah.
He is
wow.
terrible, man.
But you know what though? That's the thing. All these different things that are going on this season. A lot of dynasties, as you were saying before, for the Astros are falling. A lot of players are really starting to lose their talent, if you will.
I mean, yeah, Ryan Presley in 2/3 of an inning gave up 2 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 2 Ks, and a walk.
That goes to prove my point of losing a lot of talent.
For an ERA of 40.5.
Jeez.
And then
Wow.
Hader, I mean, didn't exactly help his case, but
No, not at all.
he had 2. He gave up. He pitched an inning and a third. Gave up 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, and had 2 walks and 0 Ks. I mean, that may be one of the worst contracts in the MLB right now. I mean, it was, I believe, 5 years for $100 million. This is
That's a lot. Yeah.
This is yet another reason why you should not pay relievers, except for Emmanuel Clase. But
Well, you also gotta. Also, you have to look at your relievers and you have to say which one will be doing good if we were to put them in, or which one would be good sitting on the bench. Because if you're wasting money just by paying them if you're just going to sit there, and they really don't have even the talent to even be put in for one game. So that's a good way to save money, which is definitely something that a lot of teams this season need to do. Especially, I'd say the Braves do.
Oh, you know, I mean, to be fair though, the Braves had 90% of their team on the injured list. So
yeah.
I mean,
well, that goes to prove that yesterday's game against the Padres, 4-5, definitely proved that point. That is
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
yeah, no, I in my opinion, I think Hader is definitely the worst contract in the MLB. I mean, I feel like Aroldis Chapman is really the last good reliever to have, you know, like a good like to be signed to a lot of money, have like a good contract, but you know, even then, like he wasn't that good.
Yeah.
I mean, especially towards the tail end. I mean, he was blowing save after save, could not find the zone, and ever since then, he's been a journeyman.
yeah. Well,
He
I mean,
was with so after 2022, he signed with the Royals for a 1-year deal. Signed with and they got traded to to the Rangers, and then won a World Series ring immediately after that, and then and then signed with the Pirates in the event, and then stayed there. Who honestly did pretty well.
you do well at a good team, you do bad at another team. I mean, even teams that are bad this season and have good players, like, I mean, you look at the Braves. Michael Harris, he had, let me see, I got my list here. I got 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 RBIs, and 1 home run. That's pretty good if you ask me.
I mean,
Yet
to no fault. I mean, this game was to no fault of his own.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. I mean, you also got to look at Marcelo Zuna. He did pretty good, kind of. I mean, he had 4 ABs. I mean, still all right. He's still a good player. I'm not going to say that he needs to be traded or go somewhere else. He's pretty good, but yet at the same time, that really didn't help the Braves situation.
Yeah, I mean, especially doesn't help that he's also a DH and cannot play outfield. So, I mean.
No.
And then back to Aroldis Chapman, to the team that he signed on in 2022. The Kansas City Royals beat the Orioles, the Baltimore Orioles, and man, Adley Rutschman may reach Trevor Lawrence type player. All the hype in the world, yet nothing to show for it.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure. I mean, another one for sure is Travis I can't even say his last name. Darno, some French.
Dude, move on to this game.
Which game were we on?
The Orioles and
I didn't realize move game. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, but, you know, Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson went a combined 1 for 8 yesterday, and that's not good. They went a combined 1 for 8 yesterday, and then they went a combined so they went a combined 1 for 15 in that series.
Wow.
That's not good.
That's
terrible.
I mean, at least Michael Massey did good. I mean, 4 ABs, one run and 2 hits.
And even then, that run was a fluke.
I know. And not even a lot of the Braves or even any of the Orioles had any home runs that game. I don't believe none of them did.
No one had no one did. This was a very pitcher-dominant series. I mean. Yeah,
I mean, you look at Seth Lugo for the Orioles. Excuse me. 6 6 SOs. That's pretty good for a pitcher.
Four and a third innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 6 Ks and 1 walk. I mean, he did pretty well. I mean,
it's pitcher season. It really is.
For the Royals, if you were the Royals, you want them to, you want your starters to stretch out more, especially with, coming with this next series as we'll transition to the ALDS. They face the 1 seed New York Yankees, which, as a Yankees fan, I'm not entirely worried about the Royals. I mean, I'm still kind of worried because they beat the Orioles, who we could not beat at all. But I will say this: their starting rotation is very good. Their bullpen is terrible. Their offense is terrible. The only two positions that the Royals beat the Yankees at is is first base and shortstop, and that's it. The Yankees are just that much better at every position.
I mean, as a Yankees fan myself as well, I really got to say I'll always have hope for every single team. I know we're on MLB, but NFL, I'm a Giants fan right now. For those who follow football, you know that the Giants are
not looking well.
Not looking well. It's not a lot of hope there, but as a Giants fan, I'll still have hope until they lose again, which will probably be very soon. But for the Yankees, so let's get back to MLB. For the Yankees, yeah, I got to agree with you there, 100%. I mean, Judge, Soto, Stanton, all those big-name guys on the Yankees, they're doing pretty good. But
and not to mention the probable starters for Game 1 for the Royals is Michael Wacha. who Judges is 1 for 18 with
Wow.
11 strikeouts
Jeez.
and 0 home runs. Torres, 1 for 16 with 3 strikeouts. Stanton, 2 for 12 with 2 strikeouts and 1 home run. I mean,
That's wow.
Rizzo, he's won this season. He's 1 for 8 with 2 Ks. I mean, that's not good at all. I mean, that's not what you need out of your best players.
I mean, it goes to show for the Yankees as well, especially during the game on Sunday. The Yankees versus Pirates, 4-6. Yankees somehow pulling off a win. I'm happy about it. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm happy about it. But then you also got to look at all the stats.
To
Wow.
be fair, the Yankees put out a punt lineup and still won. So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
give
no.
Trent Grisham a memorial in Memorial Park. So and then for the Yankees, the probable starter is Garrett Cole, who is owned everyone.
Yeah.
On the Orioles,
Yeah.
the Royals. I mean, career-wise for Salvi Perez is 1 for 15, 3 Ks and a home run.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't been good. Michael Garcia has been fantastic against him. And then we move on to the Royals' two division rivals, the 2 seed Cleveland Guardians, and the 6 seed. No, sorry. Yeah, the 6 seed Detroit Tigers. I mean,
That should be
in my
that's a good
opinion,
one.
I think the Tigers are going to win. They're a much better team.
That
they
seems
hit
like a
home
good
runs.
matchup. That's for sure.
They hit home runs. They hit for contact. They can field and they can pitch. What I think is interesting is the fact that they sold at the deadline. They sold at the deadline and are still a playoff team. That's definitely great. And then Cleveland also, an incredibly lucky team. If you watch them, they bunt the ball a lot. They play a very old school style of play, which I mean, is fine. But you will definitely get exposed. Later on. So.
Yeah. I mean, again, I really still learning a little bit about MLB. I'm not saying I know a lot, so I'm letting this guy do a lot. But at the same time, from what I do know this season is that all the teams they end up doing either great or bad. I mean, I'll name a few. I mean, Orioles, they did good. But at the same time, some of their players could really use a wake-up call, that's for sure.
I mean, their best players went absolutely cool. They pulled an Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
That may have actually been worse.
Yeah. Only
And
75 seconds on the field. That's not that good.
Yeah, at 75 seconds.
It's a figure speech is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Okay, 3 and out, basically.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the – damn, I can't remember who's the 2 seed. Do you know who the 2 seed is?
Off the top of my head.
For the NL.
Off the top of my head, no. Let me.
No, I can check. It's fine. But whoever the 2 seed is,
I think it's the Tigers.
No, not the Tigers. I'm talking about for NL.
Oh, my bad.
NL. So
I believe that would be.
for the NL, it would be who? Oh, it would be the Phillies. The Phillies are the 1 seed. No, 2 seed. So whoever wins the series between the Mets and the Brewers faces the Phillies. And
You have the seeds of who's on 1 seed?
for the NL,
Yeah.
Dodgers.
Dodgers. That's
And that
Dodgers,
would
wow.
be a great matchup. I mean,
That
Padres,
will be.
Dodgers. That
That
game
will
is
be.
going to either 5 series or the Dodgers are getting swept. I mean,
it's
Padres-
all a 50-50 chance for the Dodgers. That is for sure. I mean,
mean,
you saw it last year too.
I mean, the Dodgers are notoriously playoff chokers. I mean, they're not a good playoff team, especially with a very very hot Padres team. I mean, they've been incredibly hot in the second half especially. I mean, they went something ridiculous like. Sorry, hold on. I need to find the research.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the Padres went like a whopping 44-20 in the second half. They were below 500 going into the All-Star break.
Wow.
I mean, if that doesn't tell you what momentum does, I don't know what does. So, what are your predictions for the series? I'll go first for the Dodgers-Padres series. I will say the Padres win in 5.
I could agree with that.
And then for the Mets-Braves series, Mets-Brewers series, who do you think wins that? I think the Mets.
Brewers.
I
have to
think
go.
the Brewers did. Yeah,
I have to go with the statistics. I mean, you got to look at the Brewers. The Brewers are doing pretty good. I have to go with
The
them.
Brewers are luck merchants, but I mean.
Yeah, I mean.
The Mets have no pitching.
No, not at all.
I mean, it's just not.
I mean, you look at NL Central. You look at all the standings here. You see that the Brewers wiped every other team there.
I mean, to be fair, the NL Central is not exactly the best of the division.
If I
got
can
the
add
Reds and-
something
Oh,
about
yeah, go
the
ahead,
Mets,
Evan.
if I can add something about the Mets pitching, Listen, it's something that has been apparent throughout the entire season. Their starting pitcher always does fine. However, the problem is, I don't know what's going on in the Mets front office where they decide who plays how long, but their starting pitcher plays no more than like 5 innings.
5 innings, yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Their bullpen is also absolutely egregious.
Oh my God! Don't get me started.
I think it legitimately might be the worst in baseball.
I mean, really, but I'm very happy with how they turned around their season.
I mean, not to mention Jose Quintana is also starting for the Mets, who is notoriously not pitched well against the Brewers. So
That's true. That's
so
true.
in my opinion, I think the Brewers win this.
I personally have the Brewers too. Figured I should add that.
Rooting against your own team is
Listen,
is
no.
insanity.
No, listen. We're talking about the 3-seeded Brewers here. They are a very good-looking team, and watching the Mets. I'm making sure the camera can see me for this. Watching the Mets sell the game in Mets fashion in Game 2, I don't know where to go with this team.
Yeah.
They looked so good for this second half of the season, and then what? What happened?
Diddly squat.
Diddly
Yeah,
squat
exactly.
is right, Ryan Parm.
That's the best word to use.
And then so who do you have winning the Tigers and Guardians series? In my opinion,
Tigers.
I think it's the Tigers before.
Tigers.
I mean the Cleveland is not a good team.
No.
And I mean it also helps that they had literally the worst team in MLB history in their division. That is legitimately the only reason why there are 3 AL Central teams in the playoffs. I will say this though, the Tigers, they look legit. Tigers look legit. I'm telling you this right now, the Cleveland Guardians are on fraud watch. And someone who else is on fraud watch? The Kansas City Royals. You want to know why?
Why?
They went 11-1 against the White Sox. You want to know what their record would be if they never faced the White Sox?
What would it be?
74-75. They are a
Jeez.
sub-500 team without playing the worst team in MLB history. And you want to know another team who was in the playoff hunt that was also a White Sox merchant?
Who?
The Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins went a whopping 12-0
I'm not surprised.
against them.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, to be fair, White Sox, again, the worst team of all time in the modern era, at least.
Hey, no. I was just about to bring up the 1899. Like, what is it, Cleveland Spiders or something?
Had the GOAT Cy Young on that team lose 50 games for
Cleveland
them.
Spiders.
Oh man, I mean, I think they went like what was it, 20 and 134?
We need a modern day Cy
Yeah,
Young.
it actually was. It was 20-34.
See, look
We
at
need a
me. I
modern
know
day Babe Ruth.
I know my baseball. Hey, look
Yeah.
at me.
Get him right there. There we go.
Listen, there's a reason I'm on cams. I'm obviously not a pro at baseball, but I know things.
I'm
I
not
know
either,
things.
but we all learn. We all learn. But matter of fact, it is now 3:15.
Whoa. We need to finish our predictions.
Oh,
there. Calm down, sir.
sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't think that this will be a very close series. I think the Yankees win in 4 because it's very dependent on who they're starting Game 3. I mean, and it also depends on the performance of Carlos Rodon in Game 2. I mean, because Carlos Rodon can either go 3 innings and give up 7 runs, or it can go 7 shutty. I mean, there's really no in between to Carlos Rodon. He's been a very hit or miss player. He's been very good recently. He's a very lucky pitcher to start off the year. Had a lot of hard hit percentage, and then just got bailed out by good defense or just stranding runners. But there was a period in time where he did not do particularly good at all, and then his last 3 or 4 starts has looked absolutely fantastic. And and then it's dependent who starts Game 3, Luis Gil or Clark Schmidt. In my opinion, I think Luis Gil should go for a max of 2 innings, and then in relief, Clark Schmidt comes in. And the reason why I say this, Clark Schmidt, here, let me put the stats. Clark Schmidt has performed phenomenally against playoff teams. I mean, let me find the stats, but he's done absolutely great.
I don't doubt it. I really don't. I mean, at the end of the day, it all comes down on which team do you think really is going to prove themselves this season or which team you think is not. I mean, the players, you just stating them before, the players seem to definitely put that theory into play every single game that's happening. I believe you said the game that's happening tonight, 7 o'clock, that would
Brewers and
the Mets?
Mets, yeah.
Yeah, Brewers and the Mets. That's definitely going to be a game that'll prove what the season's going to be looking like for the Brewers, which we all know it may result in a Brewers win. But, I mean, the Mets, I take it back. It's definitely going to result in a Brewers win.
They were looking like the team of destiny. Now,
Yeah,
not so much.
Not at all.
All right, so I want you to guess whose stats are whose, and then we'll wrap up the MLB segment and go into NFL.
Let's go.
So player A, in 53 innings, he has a 5.09 ERA, a 5.13 FIP. For those who do not know, what FIP is, it's basically ERA, which is how many runs you give up per 9 innings. So if you give up 1 run every 9 innings, that means you have a 1 ERA. But if you give up 1 run every 3 innings, you have a 3 ERA. So what FIP does, it takes out all the luck factors. So it gets rid of hits, errors, stuff like that. Instead it uses the outcomes only the pitcher and the batter can control. Strikeouts, walks, and home runs. And right now, his FIP is basically saying that Luis Gil that this player is getting very lucky.
Well, I wouldn't say I know players' names, but I could go by teams. So, is he in the AL or the NL?
Well, no, this is on the Yankees.
For the Yankees. For the Yankees.
And,
All right,
and,
then let me
then
think.
he has a 4.83 expected FIP. So again, that means he's getting unlucky with what's happening. A 22.3% K rate, an 11.3 walk percentage, which by the way is the league average is 8%. So he's over 3% above league average. A 237 average and a 1.43 whip, which is walks, hits in innings pitched. So it's exactly what it sounds like. And a 74.2 left on base percentage. That was player A. Player B has had in 31 innings, 31 in the third innings, a 3.45 ERA, a 3.90 FIP, a 3.93 FIP, expected FIP, a 29 K percentage. You want to know what the league average is? 22%.
Jeez.
A 9.4 walk percentage, a 2.16 batting average against, 1.15 whip, and a 74.9% left on base percentage. Can you guess who was who?
All right, I'm just gonna wing it. Tommy.
No, these are starters.
Oh, starters. I'm gonna say one of the big names. Do you tell me if I'm getting either warmer or colder position-wise? Stanton.
Dude, they're pitchers.
Oh, pitch. Oh, so this is pitchers. I'm sorry. It's been a long day for me, especially. I'm sorry. Let me see.
They're both in the starting rotation, by the way. So.
I'm cheating, by the way, and I'm using the roster.
MLB.com. But yeah, no. Who do you think player is?
Could be wrong. And this is a pitcher, you said.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole?
No. It is not. Garrett Cole's neither of them. I'll give you 3 tries for each, and I'll tell you who they are.
See. Ooh, this is getting tough. This is really getting tough. If it's not Cole, he's not a starter. Could be wrong. No, he's not. Jeez, I think I might need a hint.
All right, so I'll tell you who to do. So player A, that the worst play overall, that is Luis Gil against playoff teams, and player B is Clark Schmidt against playoff teams. Again, Clark Schmidt has had a smaller sample size, but has performed significantly better than Gil has.
I would have never guessed Schmidt. I would never would have.
Not to mention, Gil is coming off of a Tommy John surgery and has well exceeded his innings. I believe he's pitched 180. His maximum coming into spring training was 120. So that man is absolutely gassed. His fastball in the start of the season was averaging about 98, 99. Average fastball right now, 95. He is absolutely gassed. He needs to. What he needs in the offseason is to build up his stamina further on. Anything else to add?
I mean, only thing I have else to add, so we can quickly move on to NFL. I'm just gonna say something about Schmidt. Schmidt is disgusting, man. No, he's not there. I mean, we're almost getting close to the finals of the season.
Yeah,
we're one strikeout. What at least the whole season?
Like per inning, yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
I mean, he's
for a pitcher. That's all right. I mean,
for a starter who has been pretty bad recently, and is a pitch to contact player, he's performed pretty well, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that'll wrap up the MLB segment of In the Vault, and we'll be back in a few moments with the NFL segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back right after these messages. If you would like to be a member of Union Catholic Livestream, please feel free to reach out to Mr. Lambert, Mr. Bonadies, or one of us. You know Ryan Parmenter, you know Brandon Banco, you know me, I'm Evan Florek. You know where to find us. Probably somewhere in the junior wing. All right, now on to the NFL segment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Union Catholic Livestream.
That was pretty fast, but there we go.
Well, we don't have a lot of messages today.
Yeah, well, we're going to just do a little quick segment about NFL. We don't have a lot of time. We got to end a little early today, so we'll do about 10 minutes of NFL.
Let's talk about some predictions for the games this week.
So tonight's game is the Buccaneers versus Falcons. I mean, we don't really need to talk about this. I believe the Buccaneers are the clear and obvious favorite.
Listen, the fact that Baker Mayfield is currently in the league as an MVP candidate, let's be honest.
Goat, bro.
Oh, my. Listen, he just dog-walked the Eagles, and then I think he will genuinely do the same thing to the Falcons. I think it's going to be a 2-3 touchdown game. It's not going to be very close.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not much else to add.
I mean, the Buccaneers have looked phenomenal besides that one game. But
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, the Falcons clearly have failed expectations. It does not look good for them.
Falcons have looked very Falcon-y this season.
Falcon-y. I like that.
What does that even mean?
Mid. They look like most Atlanta sports.
You know what? That actually is a good.
You know what? He's right.
Take a look at the Hawks. Take a look at. I mean, the Braves aren't amazing.
I mean, the Braves outside of 2021, they've been kind of
mid
the past 5 years.
They are all mid.
For those who don't know what mid is, terrible, basically.
It's not terrible. It's just average.
It's not good. It's not bad.
I always thought mid was just.
I'm an Eagles fan. I know what mid is.
Okay, man. You're talking to two Giants. Get out of here. Get out of here,
please.
Well, anyway, let's talk about some Sunday games.
Anyways,
another New York team, actually.
The Jets and the Vikings play in London at 9:30 in the morning.
Let's see. Who do you think you got? Who do you think is going to win for sure?
I've got my 2024 MVP, Sam Darnold, carrying again to another Vikings victory. They go 5-0. As great as the Jets. Okay, I'm going to backtrack on that just a moment. As interesting as the Jets have had of a season, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is used to that England weather. I think
they play in an indoor stadium.
They do play in an indoor stadium.
Let's see if Aaron Rodgers will.
But he can't handle the pressure. He's an old man.
Oh, okay. Let's also bring this up.
Last season.
They play on a soccer pitch. And remind me what happened the last time that the NFL team played on that soccer pitch.
The Eagles won, actually. I can't be too mad.
Yeah, you can't be mad about that. It's just the fact that field conditions.
The first 5 minutes of
You're
that.
You're going from a difference from sports, soccer
game.
to NFL. That's a huge difference, especially field-wise.
100%.
I mean, really, the only player that has the advantage are kickers because A, they're usually soccer players, and B, they wear soccer cleats.
Yes, they do.
Why can't we get some soccer players from like Arsenal or something to come kick for the Jets or the Vikings?
Because they are not under contract, Brandon.
It was a joke.
That is technically.
That was funny. I laughed at that.
Anyway.
Okay.
Anyways, the Bills versus the Texans. I don't know why the heck this is a 1 p.m. game.
No.
This should be minimum 4:25. I mean,
the Texans have looked.
Who do you have? Who do you have, Ryan, for that game?
Oh, Bills. The Texans look terrible.
Okay, well that was an easy answer.
I don't really want to say terrible. I think
they
that
haven't looked good. That's for sure.
They've had some bright spots for sure.
That is one time we can't say average.
Stroud is definitely working as a decent quarterback. However,
we definitely overhype him.
Nah, he's not the top 5 QB that we expected him to be. To be fair, no one expected the top 5 QBs to be Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and not Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, Josh Allen was definitely in that conversation. It's just the fact that, with this absolute mailman of a wide receiver room, no one expected him to be what he's doing right now. And then Stephon Diggs has really just not been a factor at all.
Not really. I mean, we saw Stephon Diggs come to the Texans and say, I want targets. And you know what he hasn't gotten?
Targets.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, and then another game. You know what? Let's not even talk about it. Bears versus Panthers. I'm picking the Panthers.
I'm picking the Panthers.
Andy Dalton is just him like that.
Give me DeAndre Swift to run for 2 touchdowns. I need him to have a good game.
Give me Deontay Johnson with the world on the line.
I want Iguodala. I want DJ Moore.
You want everybody, don't you?
I want DJ Moore. I want DJ Moore having a great game. I want DeAndre Swift having a great game.
DeAndre Swift. All right, let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
DeAndre Swift had an amazing game last week on my fantasy bench.
Lucky shot from a bum. It happens all the time.
All right.
If we're talking about fantasy, if we're talking about what we want, I want a new QB because all of mine are inactive for this week.
All of his are in buys.
I think like 5 players on my team who just happened to.
Dude, you had the opportunity to pick
Listen,
up Baker Mayfield. You know that,
I
right?
did, and I missed it. I
Who
missed
is
it.
Sam Darnold?
Patrick. Dude, he dropped
those-
Baker Mayfield to
we're
pick up
talking about
Sam
our fantasy
Darnold, and then
league.
Baker has 45.
All right,
Anyways.
well, let's get back to NFL.
Anyways.
What are we talking?
so-
What are we talking about the Giants this year? What do we think about Malik Neighbors?
Bad.
Let's talk about that.
Malik Neighbors is a highlight of a very bad team. He is the only reason they have a
Yeah.
single win, and I think he is the only reason they will get any other wins in this season.
Not to mention, he will not be. He is most likely not playing. He's
Out, right? He has
he has
injury?
a
He's on
concussion.
injury?
They
Yeah.
finally get an O-line, and they have no running back to back them up.
So
and
they take
Daniel
out-
Jones has an absolute and just craps his pants.
He
I
has
mean,
the
what else
the
is there?
arm of Bobby at the corner store. Okay.
Hey, don't disrespect Bobby like that.
So wait a minute. You're
Nah,
telling
it's
me
mean
that
to Bobby.
they took out Malik Neighbors for 1 concussion, but yet they haven't taken out Tua for what? 5 concussions at least.
Okay, yeah, no. To be fair,
But they're not retiring Malik Neighbors now.
No, they're not. It's just like
well,
one
no,
injury.
No, the thing is with the Giants, I know for a fact Malik can play. They just do not want him to play to preserve his health because there's finally a sliver of hope in this terrible, awful franchise, and they do not want to throw it away.
have not been relevant in a decade, I should
Hey,
clarify.
Hey,
Oh.
whoa, whoa, whoa. 2 years ago.
What do you mean 2 years?
2 years ago. We
Oh,
made
for
the
the
playoffs.
decade, yeah.
And then,
So who are the Giants playing this week again? Can you remind me?
I believe they're playing the Seahawks.
I don't
That'll
want to talk
be-
about. So
that'll be
Seahawks
fun.
win.
The Seahawks did look. They looked pretty solid. Their offense looked pretty solid against the Lions.
I feel like this is going to be an interesting game to watch. I mean, Giants. Well,
I mean,
there's
It
not-
will
there's not a
not
lot
be
to
an
say.
interesting
I
game
don't-
to
I
watch.
don't think this
For
is-
me,
no,
for
no,
me.
no, no, no,
DK
for
Metcalf will run
Brandon.
for 300 yards.
The run? You mean?
I said
Do you mean Kenneth Walker?
someone will run for 300 yards.
Anyways. But remember what happened the last time the Giants faced the Seahawks?
I don't want to remember.
9
Please don't-
sacks and a 98-yard pick six.
I don't want to.
Well, that just set the tone for my
All
day.
right, so we have to kind of rush through this.
Yeah.
Bengals versus
Oh, yeah.
Ravens.
1 minute. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Bengals versus Ravens. In my opinion, I think
Ravens.
I think the Ravens win it.
Ravens.
Colts versus Jags. I think the Jags
Jags.
win it.
Listen, Joe Flacco has an all-time backup.
No. Not Joe Flacco. Joe Flack him.
Joe Flack him
We're calling him that
has,
now.
Joe
has a
Flack
very
him.
real
Okay.
argument for
That's-
one of the
that's a nice
greatest backups of all time. Let's be real for a minute. He went to the Browns, who didn't look amazing.
Made the playoffs.
They
Yeah.
made the playoffs. Did they win in the playoffs? That's a different story. But
They got walloped. But
Anthony Richardson gets injured. Joe Flacco comes in. What happens? They win a game,
Becomes
which they, you know how much they've done that this season? Not a lot.
they won.
And so, give me the Colts.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
the Jags also
Yeah,
look
that's
decent.
understandable.
The Jags looked decent last week. It's just the fact that the defense sold them. But, you know,
Not just the defense. Not
this
just
next
the defense.
matchup
That's
is
cool.
the Browns versus the Commanders. I mean, it's obviously
say-
the Commanders. And then we have the,
By
oh, wow,
landslide.
we have 2 cheeks of the same butt, the Dolphins versus the Patriots.
You
Give
know
me
what?
the
I'm gonna say
Patriots.
I was
Give me
going to
the
say
Patriots.
Patriots.
Give me
Yeah,
the
I was going to say Patriots. Dolphins, no. They can swim. They can swim away. They can
Again,
swim back home, please.
another battle of mid. The Raiders versus Broncos. I'm
I'd say
taking I'm
Broncos.
taking the Broncos because the Raiders defense is awful and they do not have Devontae Adams.
Well, the Broncos
He's
are
out.
also awful, but I got to say
Niners-
their offense is pretty good.
Niners versus Cardinals. Give me the Niners, even though they're been playing terrible. Rams versus give me the Packers. Rams versus Packers. And then Cowboys versus Steelers.
Steelers.
Sunday
I'd
Night
say.
Football. Give me the Steelers. The Cowboys almost lost to the Giants. And then on Monday Night Football, it is the New Orleans Saints versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean,
I need the
Say
Chiefs to
Chiefs.
lose, man.
Chiefs.
I need the
Chiefs
Chiefs to
need
lose.
Rasheed Rice is
They're
out. I have no reason to
Completely
support them.
overrated. Completely overrated.
I mean, they're
Everybody on
4-0.
the
It's
team.
hard to overrate a team like that. However,
No,
Kelsey should
I
retire
will
and go to
say this.
this
I
podcast,
will say
please.
this. You have not seen NFL Twitter. They are saying the Chiefs are very bad, and I very much so agree with them.
Yeah, I mean, they're not wrong. Kelsey, just go stick with his podcast. And
Kelsey,
Mahomes
become a
can
family
go-
man. All right. Anyways,
Mahomes, go stick with the State Farm commercials.
that will wrap up today's show, and we will see you in the next one.
all right.